gives me great pleasure to introduce our chief guest. There's a lot of written stuff, but before I read all that, I have to tell you that Rohan and I go a long way back to 83. I will also tell you, so we were both rowing together. He was the captain of rowing for Colombo Rowing Club, and I was captain in Moroto University at the time. So our vice chancellor came for an award ceremony and asked who that handsome man was. So I guess he was very handsome at that time. He has dedicated his life to innovation, promotion, and marketing of traditional beverages. He is the creator of the global tea brand Heldiv. I think you all know Heldiv, which is registered in 40 countries. With over 47 years of experience in the tea industry, he has served in the Colombo Tea Traders Association as a member, as a director of the Sri Lanka Tea Board, and as an independent director of the Sri Lanka Industrial Technology Institute from 2015 to 2016. He's also an independent, non-executive director of Selinco Insurance General Limited. He's a former president of the National Chamber of Exporters from 2008 to 2009 and served as the elected chairman of the Tea Exporters Association of Sri Lanka from 2014 to 2016. He's a national award winner since 1997 at the NCE Exports Awards and was selected Exporter of the Year, winning gold awards in 4 categories in 1999. He was also awarded Sri Lankan Entrepreneur of the Year 2015, winning the National Gold Award and Sri Lanka Entrepreneur of the Year 2015 with a Provincial Gold Award. He's not just an accomplished businessman, but also a multidisciplined sportsman, having represented the school, I guess that is St. Thomas's, in rowing, volleyball, tennis, and hockey. He was also senior member of the National Olympic Committee and chairman of its Finance Management Committee. He also serves as director chairman of several other companies, including Mobitel Private Limited, eChanneling PLC, SLT Digital Services Private Limited, SLT Visioncom Private Limited, among others. It is my pleasure in welcoming Mr. Rohan Fernando to deliver the convocation address.
Good afternoon, everybody. My friend, Vice Chancellor Professor SLIIT Convocation, whom I have known for a long time. He was also a handsome man at that time and a lot of admirers at the rowing club. I must confess that, right? And thank you very much for inviting me to this August assembly. And I am overwhelmed by the reception you have given me and also allowing me to wear this cloak of honor. I must admit that I am a school dropout. Not for anything else, but the times we were studying in college in 1970s, mid-1970s, were most troubled periods in my life. There were shortages in everything, no jobs, and to make matters worse, we had just finished the 1971 JVP rebellion, which made university life not very attractive. And my family, from the middle class, from a village in Nainamadama, the electorate of Vennapur, didn't have sufficient funds to send me abroad for studies. So I stuck on in Sri Lanka, and I shall continue to live in Sri Lanka. I was born in 1955, when the country was a strong country. We were a free country, free of debt. In fact, in 1957, if I remember well, or if my records are clear, we even gave a loan to the British Crown, 157,000 sterling pounds to bridge their budget. And what has happened to us today, we have become the beggar of Asia. Still, I must tell you our country is not bankrupt. We are a rich country in every aspect. It is the people who say that we are bankrupt are the people who are bankrupt, not the country. That is my firm belief. Now, what do I tell you? I don't want to make a lecture because you have had lectures all these years and you want to get out of this lecturing business. I want to share some life experiences that I have had, ups and downs, never say give up, so that you too can succeed if I could. To begin with, in 75, now you can guess my age, I'm not worried. I'm a grandfather. My granddaughter's birthday is today, the second birthday. My family has come from the US. So immediately after that, I'm rushing for her little girl's birthday party. 75, in desperation, we applied for jobs. There weren't very many jobs available in Sri Lanka, not very lucrative jobs. The plantation was one area. There was no well-developed tourism sector, no IT sector, no garment industries, other than the government sector jobs or accountancy. And of course, my cherished job was to become a tea taster. At that time, if you couldn't do anything else, tea tasting was not a bad job because that paid well and you could develop your skills. So I joined Carson Cumberbatch. And from there, I went to Brook Bonds. I was recruited to Brook Bonds, worked 1 year in London in 82, and came back. And in 89, I started venturing out to develop my own skills and started HVA Lanka. And now today we have HVA Foods Private Limited, a quoted company. And of course, as Vice Chancellor quite correctly mentioned, we developed the brand, Heladiv, which is a very prominent brand globally, selling all kinds of teas. And we are also the pioneers of iced tea in Sri Lanka, which is now going into a lot of supermarkets globally. So those are the small beginnings. And then in 2000, I was invited to join the SLT as the chairman. Initially, I got a shock because I never applied for that. And I was going to have my own way of retirement, working, of course, traveling, playing golf, and enjoying my life with friends and family. But then I was called to duty in 20. I very gingerly accepted the post of becoming the chairman of SLT. And I wondered, what is my connection to Telecom? Only connection I could find was both T and Telecom started with the letter T. Apart from this, there was no other connection. So I had to go through the learning process of terminology, technology, meeting people. We have 600 engineers at SLT, highly accomplished engineers. Most of them are from Moratuwa University. And then, of course, Peradeniya campus. And they are highly qualified people with a lot of experience. So I had to learn again. I had to basically, the university education I could not go through. I had to go in the night, surf the web, and learn. So I did to a point, but I'm still learning. I'm telling you, you are a very lucky bunch of people today. You have got graduated in the highly demanded segments in the job market, not only in Sri Lanka, globally. And what you need is, one is the education, other one is the attitude. If you have the right attitude, if you have the skill, you can mold yourself to be a power player. And I can see all those people here with a lot of hope, carrying a degree, and now finding out what we should do. I'm sure that must be the one that is going through your mind. What am I going to do? Are you going to stay in Sri Lanka or go abroad looking for greener pastures? I can tell you very well. I travel the globe to many parts of the world in my business career. And I go to the US twice a year to be with my family. Still, Sri Lanka is the safest and the best place to live and to enjoy. You may make money, you won't have time, you may acquire a lot of wealth, but if you don't live life, what is life for? So I think you have to enjoy life. You can do it very much in Sri Lanka. And today we are at the crossroads of which way we are going. With IMF, there's a lot of hope. I have no hope with IMF. I believe in ourselves we can have hope. If we do our thing for us and for the country, this country will regain its lost glory. As I told you, in 55, I was born in a free, debt-free country. My vision also is to die in the free, debt-free country. And I am relentlessly working towards that, and I can do that. Now, if you look at the country, for any country, there are few things that you have to worry about. What is it? The security of the country. If you take the security of the country, the forces are giving an excellent job in the land, sea, and sky. But one other area that we have to worry about is the cyberspace. The latest threat can come via the cyber. I think you have learned that subject very well. Cyberspace is something that can be penetrated, and we all have to, especially the IT people, have to work hard. At SLT, we are working day and night to have Security Operations Center, the SOC, and SOC on SOC, so that the SOC will not fall asleep and have intrusions at a very crucial time. In 2020 July, we had a near debacle of entry through the VPN networks, and we managed to overcome without much damage. And since then, SLT has taken utmost precautions and developed internally our systems to secure the cyberspace for our nation. And that can be done. What is the second one? The food security. Why are we looking out for food? This country was at one time touted as the granary of the East. And that was before sapphire phosphate, muriate of potash, urea, and all those chemicals were introduced during the Green Revolution after the Second World War. We had our food cultivation. We had our indigenous products. And I myself is an organic farmer. I just harvested my paddy land in Hadaraliyadda. I had an excellent crop of cultivating a local indigenous variety. I don't know whether you know that, called Yakada Marang. And that gave an excellent crop on organic agriculture. I'm not saying that tomorrow the country can move to organic agriculture, but we have to start somewhere. People have to learn to ask for clean food. The demand has to be created, and the farmers will produce. Now we eat food. Do you test the food? Only the food that comes from outside the country are tested. What is cultivated and harvested in Sri Lanka is never tested. I tried my level best at ITI to set up testing laboratories in every district. Did not work out. Now we take chemicals into our system and we worry about our kidney problems. Most of our people die of non-communicable diseases. I think cancers, heart attacks, and diabetes. And these are all due to lifestyle, the food related. You are what you eat. So food production, where the food safety can be brought into the country, that's another area where we can be safe and we can be strong as a nation. And the third is the energy security. Now we are looking at outside for gas, coal, and petroleum. When we have above us the most powerful energy source in our space, the sun, which just put on us so much of power, solar power. We believe in all these supernatural powers, the Jnanakas and the lot. When you are in trouble, when you have that power, and we are just taken for granted. And we are just below the equator. So we are never out of sun. I remember a small poem that was on my cubicle at St. Thomas's for the sun that giveth all things birth, shines on everything on earth. If that is too much for thee, shine at least on this poor me. Even if that is too much for thee, shine at this on our land. So that was a little poem. I got a little mixed up there, but that is the crux of it is, sun is the power that is above us. I'm not telling you to become a sun god, but sun worshipper, but sun is there. And you people are now highly educated. You are doing a lot of work on solar energy. Now at SLT, we are doing a lot of work on sun power, solar energy. We are transforming some of our RSUs. We have about 460 RSUs island-wide. They are all diesel guzzling, generator driven during the power outage. Now we are transforming them into solar energy. Our electricity bill at SLT is 4 billion plus before the hike. Now it might go to about 5 billion. So we want to save. We are given a task. I think some of the graduates are working on it internally to reduce at least 1 to 2 billion from our electricity bill. How? By getting the sun and the wind, the vertical turbines to generate power for us. So we have the sun. At least part of it can be used to subsidize our energy bill. Then we have the social security. The social security is a problem that has plagued this country, where we expect everything to come free from the government. When a person is born in a government hospital free of charge. Then he goes to school, to government school, free of charge. Then he goes to the university, free of charge. Or he also gets a Mahapola scholarships. Then they demand the job from the government. Why? I am not telling everyone, most of it, to earn without having to work too much. And they still blame the country and leave everything and go abroad for greener pastures. And when they go, they realize the mistake they made, but in most cases, they are too shy to come back, saying that they fail, and they keep on suffering there. So we have to get out of that mentality. Let the government be there. The saying is, God help those who help themselves, the government help the others. That is the theory. I think that is what is happening in our country. So I think if you think that what you have learned can be put to use without depending on any governments, on your own, in your little circles, I am sure we can have a surplus in our budget. Now, all the tax money from 1.1 million tax files, of which I am told only 33% is paying tax, goes to give these benefits. And that is why I'm saying we are a beggar of the East. We expect everything free. If, like John Fitzgerald said, don't ask what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. That is where we start. In 1967, Mrs. Indira Gandhi went to UN asking for food aid because India was in a food crisis, they didn't have food. And she discussed with her team, and the following day the Washington Post published a banner headline, India coming to US begging for food. When she read the newspaper, she told the delegate, let's go back. We shall never come begging for anything. She came back to India, said, we shall survive, and declared every Monday a no food day. They sacrificed eating food on Monday. And today, India is the fourth largest exporter of grains in the world. And is becoming the fourth largest economy in the world. Where is Europe? Nowhere. So India is becoming powerful. That's our neighbor there. And we have much better scope in this country to become self-sufficient. We can never go hungry unless you want to, because in Sinhala they said, "Viyali danda uva the palave, Lanka polave." That is what we are. That is our strength. So the food security can give you the social security that we want. So I think you young people have a lot of scope to do this. You take a ship from the port of Gaul and go down. You hit Antarctica without encompassing any landmass. But yet, we import fish from Chile. That is the sad part of it. At one point, they said, fish in the Indian Ocean die of old age. I think after knowing that, now the Koreans and Chinese come and take our fish away. So the young people like you can change this. You be the change. Don't worry about system changes. Systems will never change. But you change. If you change, others will take you as an example and change. That is exactly what we have done at SLT as one team. The last 3 years, we went through difficult times at SLT. I think Vice Chancellor knows very well. The pandemic, where we couldn't get out, still our people went to give the connections. They took a risk, but they did it. And none of your connections were shut down, and we gave the service. Then we had the financial crisis. Then we have the Aragalaya. We survived all those. And we made profit continuously. 2021, we made a net profit of 12 billion rupees after paying taxes and paying the levies. We paid 23 billion. We paid 23 billion in levies to the government. And on top of that, we pay a handsome dividend to the government for its shares. In 2022, the crucial year, after we were put against high tax regimes of super gain tax of 1.5 billion, and also interest rates, we still made a net profit of 9 billion rupees because we managed the company well. We stopped corruption from top to bottom because fish start rotting from its head. So if the head is clean, if the head is not corrupt, fish doesn't rot. So this is what has happened to most institutions in Sri Lanka. The top is corrupt. That is what was changed at SLT. That is the reason 10,000 people at SLT, 27 unions, they have never gone on strike. They have never stopped work because they understand the transformation of the company. They understand the trust between the management and its staff, and they are committed for the cause that SLT is a national treasure to be protected. What is happening right now, I don't want to discuss because I think the current hot debate is to sell SLT shares. I don't want to get involved in controversial subjects. I'm only the non-executive independent chairman. So I leave that to the owners of shares and government decision makers. But this is the model Sri Lanka needs to go forward. All these institutions can be transformed to profit very easily. You take the railway department, see the amount of rail that has been laid by the British. If you value this asset, how much will it cost today to lay these rails right across the country? How much? Trillions. And yet, how often do you see a train running on these rails? And how often do you see a train running at full speed? So all we need is to strengthen our rail lines and make the railway working for the nation. Carriage of people and carriage of goods, especially oil. Every main station has oil dumps built by the British. Thanks to the British, we have got a lot of good infrastructure. Railway is one area can be transformed to one of the most profitable company. I think more profitable than SLT. And of course, we have a postal department. They are still delivering letters at a time. Not even girls and boys write love letters. That is also going on SMS. So they are still delivering letters. So we have to transform. Postal department can be the FedEx or the UPS in Sri Lanka because they have access to every single address in this country. And they have a network of delivery. Why can't they deliver rather than sending letters by post? So this is where the transformation must come, should come, and you all can be the initiator of this change. Do it yourself. Anyway, I don't want to take too much of your time. I think the next session of convocation is there. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me, Vice Chancellor and the tutorial staff of SLIIT. This is a great university, and you are very fortunate to go through the halls of SLIIT University and come out as accomplished graduates to take the future of our nation into your hands. I wish you all the best. Thank you.